Kat. Welcome to Pally Talk Talks 3 to 1.
Hi, nice to be here.
Thanks for being on the show. This is a really interesting one, and I think will be inspiring to everyone listening because you've been a VA before, but recently transitioned to being a VA full time, more or
Yeah,
less, haven't you?
yes. I've been employed, I've been a VA, I've been employed, and now I'm back in VA world.
VA world. I love it.
Yes.
We'll touch on some of the bits in the questions. So I'm going to ask you three questions, and you've got a chance at the end to ask me one to wrap up the interview. But question one
Right.
is, how have you found the transition to becoming a VA this time round?
Um, I've learnt lots of lessons the first time I did it. And I think this time I'm much more confident and I've got a bit more of a nothing to lose attitude. Whereas before I was probably a bit of a nervous Nelly and a bit, oh, I can't do that. And no one's going to work with me. And whereas now I just think, just do it. Come
Yeah.
on now. You can do it.
And just touching on last time round, did you so you went to being a VA. How did you find your clients? How did it work last time? Or what made you go back into employment?
So the first time I did it was entirely by accident. I had my son, and when I was going back to work, my employer at the time was shutting down her business, but she said, "Oh, but I still might need you for a little bit. So could you just do a few hours?" And then that's kind of how that began. And then I realized that that was a thing.
Mm,
And actually, people like her who run small businesses need people like me who, the typical don't want to pay for a full-time employee, just want to pay for the work that's done. And
yeah.
so I was like, oh, this is a thing. So then yeah, just sort of reached out to people I knew. In fact, I told everybody I knew what I was doing. And then gradually, over sort of a period of a few months, I got another client. And then somebody who I was working for then recommended me to somebody else. So I didn't really market myself as such. It just kind of happened sort of naturally, people through people, really.
Mm,
And then I ended up with sort of 5 or 6 clients. And I was like, oh, I'm actually this thing called a VA. I didn't know it was a thing.
yeah.
And that was it.
And then did you go back into employment after that?
Yeah, so then COVID hit, and literally, probably within a week, I don't want to say I lost my business, that sounds dramatic, but the landscape definitely changed. People panicked. I was, a dispensable thing in their business. Right, I wasn't an employee. They could just say stop working, which a few of them said stop working. I don't know if I can pay you. And everyone was just nervous and scared. And then sort of within about a week, I was like, oh, what's just happened? And and then sort of I spent the summer thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. What's the world going to be like? And then one of my previous clients said, do I want to go and work for her as an employee? And I said, yes, please, because I need a
Yeah.
job. I didn't really know what else to do. Didn't think the VA thing would be able to pick it back up again. And so I went then to go and work for a client, and then I worked for her for 7 years as her employee. So, um, and then very recently that sort of naturally came to an end. Her business changed. And then I thought, well, I'll give being a VA another go. I've got
Mm,
kids. There's nothing out there like this that enables you to, you know, have the freedom and flexibility. I've got a young family. I've got a dog. I there isn't anything else that allows me to pick them up, walk the dog, pick up my food shop, pick the kids back up, take them to netball, and then work again at 10 o'clock at night,
yeah.
because that just doesn't exist in 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my drive for going back into this world, really.
And then you became a VA, had one client on, and then more recently have got more clients suddenly
Yeah.
flooding in, and you got these by cold calling local small to medium businesses. How would you what advice would you give someone going down that route?
So I think this time, like I said before, has definitely been I've learned so much from before. Now I've got solid contracts in place. I feel more confident talking about what I offer. I tell everybody, whereas before I was like, oh, I don't want to say what I do.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I've just got this mentality that I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And every time, a builder goes past, I literally go, oh, I'm going to get their number. And I ring them and I do my little speech of, in a very, short 1 minute of trying to convince them and sell my services in a very human, you know, people to people way. And lots of people don't know that people like us exist until you tell them
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I have found is one of the most, probably thing that people like is you don't have to hire a full-time person. You can pay me for X hours and I'll do A, B, and C, and then that's it. There's no other commitment. I'm
Mm.
just going to get the stuff done that you need. And that's quite an attractive thing for, people who or businesses who, have tight cash flows.
Yeah.
They don't have, the funds to hire a full-time person 5 days a week, or that feels nervous to them because they've never hired somebody. They just want to pay for the job and that's it.
Yeah.
So sorry, yeah, back to your question is every opportunity that I've seen, I've even rung my kids' sports coaches because I think, well, they run a business, they might need someone like me. And my
Yeah.
kids do loads of sports. So I'm just on the phone, I'm like, hi, da da da. And yeah, I've just, and for every 15 I've rung, 14 of them have said no. And I'm like, put the phone
Yeah.
down and I'm like, okay, right, let's move on to crack on with the next one.
Yeah.
But you don't need, I don't need hundreds of clients. I just need 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And that would fill my time. And so that's kind of what I've been doing every day. If I've got, spare hour, I'm like, right, who can I ring today?
Mm.
What area is it builders? Is it sports coaches? Is it whatever the
Yeah.
business area is? I'm like, right, I'm gonna find some of them today. And so yeah, that seems to have worked
It's
for
so
me. That seems to have,
it's so good because actually picking up the phone is like, well, it's so old school if you think of
yeah,
it like that, but it does work. And actually, if
yeah,
even if you ring someone and they're like, no, we don't want anyone not to take on, they'll have a chat with you just because you've
yeah,
taken the time to call them, and then
yeah,
their brother might need someone, or their mum, or someone they know might need
yeah,
someone, and then it's just sort of referrals, and
yeah,
I think the referral and word of mouth part of the client finding comes up a lot because loads of people, once they've got a really good client, they're servicing them really well, they'll then be referred on and on and on. It then like
yeah,
it's rolling, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And I always believe in one of my clients always used to say this all the time is people buy from people.
Yeah,
And that human element is such an underrated tool that
yeah,
we all have. And, I just think when you're working with people who run their own businesses, that's their whole worlds and their babies.
yeah.
It's also a nervous thing for them to hire somebody. And if you come along and just yourself and be like, I can help you, or let me help you,
Mm.
I feel like they're more willing to give you a go.
Yeah, 100%. I've actually just written that down. People buy from people because it's so
People buy from
true.
people.
And you can with all the job listings that are mostly online, let's say, you rarely see sort of I don't know if you looked in like magazines for jobs or newspapers for jobs when you're looking, but people rarely, I suppose, do that now. So it's all online,
Mm,
isn't it? And you don't
yeah,
see the face behind
no,
the
and it's such I mean, when I first entered this a couple of weeks ago, I spent the first, 3 days applying for jobs, and
mm,
it's absolutely the most soul destroying thing. I
mm,
don't think I've heard back from a handful of them,
mm,
and it's just soul destroying. And I thought, I can't do this.
yeah.
I need to look at this another way.
Yeah, exactly. And at least ringing them up, you get some feedback. Like someone might be like, not now, but maybe in a couple of months when we get this project on or whatever it might be. And then at least you can
Yeah,
add it into your spreadsheet and it's something to
yeah,
do. Yeah. I think it's really good. I think it's definitely something that people should try. And if
yeah,
anything, it makes you then more confident on the phone. So if your next client does say, right, you need to go call all these people, you're like, cool, I'm good at this.
yeah. Like if a client said to me, "Oh, could you, fill some goodie bags?"
Yeah.
Just for example,
Yeah.
um, I'd be like, yeah, cool. Like,
Yeah.
who can I ring? Who can I ask for stuff for free? Because you've built that confidence behind you. Like I
Yeah.
said, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and you only learn from it.
I know
Is my
exactly. And you'll rarely get someone at the end of the phone who sort of stuns you and makes you feel uncomfortable because everyone loves the chat. When
yeah,
everything's done by email, people love it when they get someone nice at the end of the phone.
yeah, yeah. Or even like if you're brave enough to like pop in.
Did you? Did you go in?
I have done that. I have done that. And the guy wasn't there. But the guy behind the counter was very nice. He was like, "Come back when they." What did he call him? What they call like a tradesman? Like, oh, I can't remember the name. But he was like, "Oh, come back when oh no, come back when the governor's here."
Really?
Yeah.
Governors?
And I sort of walked out and I could feel myself going red, and I was like, "No, that is a learning curve."
Yeah, you did it though.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and especially if you left your card or whatever, they'll be like, "Oh, Cat, that came in the other day."
yeah, yeah.
I think it's really good. I think people
So
need
yeah,
to try these things.
you have
Why
nothing to
not?
lose. Do it
Yeah.
because otherwise I could just be sitting at home thinking, how do I get clients?
Mm.
And I haven't. It's on my list to do, but I have never been to a networking event. I've not
Mm,
because I don't want to. I just haven't needed to.
mm,
And I know that some people rave about that, and that is a really good way of getting clients. But
mm.
I've never needed to do that because I've done it a different way.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
think what you've done has proven to work. So I think people need to try that. I
yeah,
think networking is good. The only I'm terrible at going to them, and I need to start going to them more because I think it's a big commitment, especially when you're unemployed, to go to a networking event because it can cost money to get there. Then
yeah,
you've got to get dressed and get your confidence up, which you don't really have if you're searching for a job because you're sort of feeling rubbish. And yeah, it's like it's really out of your comfort zone, I think. So I think
yeah,
trying this approach maybe alongside some networking, if that's what you think could work. But
yeah,
yeah, I think this is the way forward.
yeah. Fake it till you make it. That's what I
Yeah.
say. Half the
Um,
time I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking. I don't think I know what I'm talking about, but it seems to work
you're just schmoozing them and they're loving it.
pretty much. I don't know what I'm doing.
And then thirdly, you mentioned
Yeah,
you've got kids and a doggy.
yeah, my dog.
How do you find juggling everything?
So I think I'm probably on the spectrum somewhere with this because my Google Calendar is very color coordinated, and every um every half an hour is sort of allocated to a job. Because if I don't get it out of my brain and organize it, then it doesn't happen. And yeah, I just like to have everything organized. So yeah, it's just planning ahead and just being organized. And I've got Trello boards again that say everything in my
Yeah,
diary.
I was just going to ask you about Trello. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
carry
Oh, I
on.
love a Trello board. Um, so I just plan everything. I'm planning all the kid stuff. I'm planning, dog walks, and I planning when I pick my food shop up, and I just plan it all in, and then I can see what I've got free, and I'm like, well, that's when I can work.
Yeah,
So I just have to be super organized with life and
yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
then work.
And
So it
the
doesn't always go to plan, but it,
I
80% of the time
know
it works.
exactly. But if you have a plan and it goes off skew, it's fine because you just move the
Yeah,
meeting. But I think when I first started Pilot Talk, I never had like a plan in the diary. So I'd get to like two and I'd be like, oh my God, what have I done? What haven't I done? What have I got to do? And it would be like you almost put more stress not
yeah,
having a plan for the day. So
yeah.
just on Trello, how do you find it? Do you use it for everything or do you use it for to-dos or?
I have two Trello boards. I have one for VA life and one for personal life. And
Mm.
then within Trello, um, I then have lists. I have like what I need to do this week, and then I have a list that says brain dump things. So when you wake up at 3 in the
Yeah,
morning, you think I need to book the dog into the vet.
yeah.
Put it on the things that I've like brain dumped, so it gets out of my brain. And then I just have a list for other things like holiday, like sort insurance.
Where do I want to go?
Yeah, like then I just have like subject lists
Yeah,
for stuff. I don't know, Christmas plans for summer holidays. And then as and when I need to, I then move it onto today's list. So I go
yeah,
through it every week and then just move it around. And then similar with the VA list, when I first started, I just brain dumped everything that was in my brain, find an accountant, read about IR35,
yeah,
do I need to register for money laundering? Like all the things that I was on like in my brain, I just
yeah,
dumped on this list.
yeah.
Where can I find clients? What can I do? What's this pally talk? Read the website.
Yeah,
Like I just brain dumped everything, and that's not as probably as ordered as I'd like, but that's
yeah.
because it's sort of a bit of a brain dump at the moment. But yeah, I love Trello. It organises my brain beautifully.
You've got to do a brain dump though. Otherwise,
Yeah,
if you don't write it down at night, then you just in the morning it's gone.
yeah, yeah,
So I've literally just downloaded it on my phone because I need to start. I use notes on my just notes, and
yeah,
I was thinking the other day, imagine if I deleted the note page, I would
yeah,
have an absolute meltdown. So I'm
yeah,
transferring everything to Trello, and then I need to just use that because I think if you use it 100%, then it's great. But I
yeah,
could be going like, oh, bit of this, bit of that. You
yeah,
be a bit more.
yeah. I also have a sort of a non-negotiable Sunday list. So on a Sunday, there are things I have to do to set myself up for the week. So I have to iron the kids' school uniform because I have two kids and they
Mm.
have new uniform every day. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but if I don't iron their uniform on a Sunday, I'm ironing it at 6 o'clock in the morning and they're, where's my PE kit? So I'm like, that's a non-negotiable for my
You
week.
iron their PE kit.
I'm not their PE kit, but do you know what I mean? Like,
I was like, oh my God, you're
no, no, like,
incredible.
no, like, 5 shirts and
Yeah.
jumpers and whatever. So that's like my non-negotiable. And then I know it also sounds really silly, but like book in my food shop slot, because if I don't get my food slot for Thursday morning, then there's no food in the house for the weekend.
Yeah.
Everyone then goes into uproar. Oh, there's no bagels, there's no like it's just a non-negotiable. So I
Yeah.
have this whole list on the Sunday of things I have to do to set myself up for the week. And I
I
was telling a
love
client
that.
about it the other day. Um, and because she was like, "Oh, I need to, I really want to start going to the gym." And I was like, "Well, you need to make that non-negotiable in your week, and on
Yeah.
a Sunday, set it up,
Yeah.
and then everything else is flexible."
Yeah.
But again, I've just learned that I need to do that by it failing, and then thinking I need to fix this because I can't let that happen again. Because the knock-on effect of having hungry kids
Yeah,
and
not
oh,
having
there's no
food.
orange and there's no like seriously, like you know and being like the mum, as much as my other half is amazing and we're very we share all the responsibilities. I don't care what anybody says, it does come back on you as a mum. And you're the glue that holds it all together. I know
Yeah.
some people would disagree with that, but you just are.
Yeah.
So if your school uniform is not done and your croissants aren't there, then the whole world falls apart.
Yeah.
And you're trying to have world VA domination at the same time and
Yeah.
hold everything together.
I know there's a lot, but I think there's such, oh, because on Sunday you actually have like a time when your brain starts building up for the week. So like the momentum's already going. And I suppose then
Yeah,
you get the ideas going and then you're like, right, I need to get this done. So actually Sunday's a really good one because by the time it's
yeah.
Monday morning, it's too late because you're
Yeah,
already in
you can't
that
start
mode.
your day on a Monday. You got to start
Yeah,
your week on a Sunday, so that when you log on a Monday, you then know
you're
what you're doing.
ready.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you said something, oh, earlier you mentioned a 10 p.m. sit down to your desk. Do you do the evening? Do you get a couple of hours done in the evening? Is that sort of your
yeah.
style?
So the kids are at school 9 to 3, but I like to go out for lunch and take my dog out and
Yeah,
do whatever I need to do or pop and get that birthday card. So I
yeah.
need that time in the day to be able to go and do that. Because as soon as 4 o'clock hits, it's chaos with dinner
Mm,
and clubs and stuff. So I do give myself that space where I, not fixed, but from 9:30 to 12:30 I'll work, and then I'll do whatever I need to do, pick the kids up, blah blah blah, and then if I can get them in bed by 7, I then start again at like 7 till 10. So then I've done my sort of 6 hour day, which is in my mind what I'm my target of 6 hours a
yeah,
day, da, da, da. And it will always be flexible, but that's my sort of benchmark of how I work,
yeah.
really.
I think the evening work. I'm the same. Hector goes to bed at 7, hopefully. So I'm normally downstairs again by about half 7. Uh,
Yeah,
and I think those two, I try to stop at 9:30, but I think those 2 hours you can get so much done when it's dark, it's quiet. I sit in the kitchen with my music on and my
yeah,
husband watches something like next door, and suddenly you can get so much of the little
yeah.
bitty jobs because no one's emailing you. You're not getting very many notifications, and you're in your little like work
Zone.
bubble. Yeah,
Yeah, I put my headphones on
Mm.
and I just sort of zone out
Yeah.
and crack on with it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's really nice, and I suppose that's the beauty of our flexible work. Is you
Yeah,
can do it whenever.
yeah, 100%. And I think I come awake at night, so I think I'm probably more productive. And
Mm.
the other thing is I'm just going to sit and watch telly.
I know. What else do you
So
do?
I'd sit there thinking I could be making money.
Yeah, yeah, always working.
Yeah.
What will your husband be watching?
Oh, probably not that he'd admit this. Married at First Sight.
Really?
Oh, there's a boat one. What's the boat one?
Oh, below
Uh,
deck.
Below Deck. Or if there's a new Netflix thing on.
Oh, I love that guy. I wish my husband was watching something like that. He'll be watching some like Men in Black or something where just like shooting and bombs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'd rather be doing some work.
Yeah.
If he was watching Married at First Sight, I'll be tempted to go join him.
I would never admit that, by the way.
Yeah, but it was I bought some stuff at slight tangent at Tesco's and I was chatting to the guy scanning my food and he was probably about 60 and he was like, I've got to get home. My wife wants to watch Married at First Sight together.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So sweet.
Oh, I want to be that.
I know. So just lastly, have you got a short, quick question for me?
Yes. I'd love to know where you see Pally Talk in, 3 years' time.
3 years time. So at the moment, we're getting to a really nice stage of like the size, the community, the engagement, etc. But I'm really hoping to grow it over the next 3 years. And the ultimate dream is to create something which provides assistants information daily to help them in their jobs, find clients or training, or just have their community of fellow assistants, and somewhere where they can go to every day to check in. Need help with this? Can anyone help me? Dog's got a swollen ankle. Can anyone recommend what's happened to it? Like whatever it might be. And just so hopefully it's just going to be a case of building it and building the jobs, hopefully getting more clients posting jobs directly, and yeah, building the sort of presence of it. So a bigger version of what it is today, but maintaining the community feel of of Polytalk. But I think at the moment I'm really happy with the year that we've had and where it's come to. So hopefully if we could just repeat year on year, then happy days.
Amazing. Sign me up.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you.
Polytalk to talk
Thanks for
people
having
on.
me.
Thank you. Bye.